Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7
What's up? This is JUDAHAWOKEACE with Truth Talk Radio. And T Mezzles the Great, Mark from 7 Mile Radio. What's going down?
Another exciting show, man. We had a good show last week, man. A lot of heavy topics, man. We seen that you about to bring on this Truth Talk segment. So what we got on the agenda? What we got on the menu for today?
Well, today we're gonna have one of the conscious YouTubers, social media lecturers, the Ducateers, Aseer the Ducateers, which I know a lot of you people is familiar with. So we got him calling in to the show right now to talk about some truth.
That's what's up. That's what's gonna be some of the topics of discussion on the panel for today.
Well, so some of these topics is Trump starting this new military group, which the sixth branch, and I'm trying to figure out what's all that's about. You know what I'm saying? Trump starting a new space corps. New branch. So you know what I'm saying. This is real. You got a lot of people laughing at this, but if you look deeply into the rabbit hole, there's really some serious shit. So we're gonna get into that. Hopefully, get into this suicide culture that's going on in the youth. And also, we're gonna talk about the Black Census of 2020.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So what's one of the first things you want to talk about, man? Right now on the show. The first topics we gonna throw out there.
Well, the first topic you already know is this new Black Census 2020 that's supposed to be with the Black explanation and detailed and. So we're gonna talk about that and see what's going on because they coming out with a new census for 2020 that's gonna have you explain
for Black people.
Well, it's not just
black
for.
Are you?
It's gonna detail. You know what I'm saying? I guess trying to separate us. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the word from my brother Aseer and see what's going on.
All right. Well, yeah, man. It's a lot of things going on that I've seen. In regards to our people, man. So I appreciate you having this show, man. We can have a platform to talk about, these things distinctively because we have a lot of different types of shows on the network. But you know, what I mean, we did this one right here as far as the subject matter that you're bringing. You know, what I mean, I already see that this is gonna be something real treasured for the people, man. So
yeah, because my community needs to be awoke, and you know what I'm saying. We need to pay attention to a lot of these issues and a lot of these stories that they bringing on the news. And whatever, because if you look deeper in some of this stuff, it's actually
we got a caller,
story.
And we got a caller. Who is this live on the air on the Truth Talks, man? Who is this and where you calling from?
Islam, my brother. How you doing? It's brother Aseer.
What's going on, man?
What's going down?
Well, yeah, brother Aseer, how you doing?
Islam, my brother. How are you?
Fine, man. Good you coming on the show. I really appreciate everything. And to the folks
problem.
out there, this is brother Aseer. He's one of the hottest lecturers, metaphysical lecturers right there to date. I voted for this guy for the new, hopefully the Hidden Colors 5. He can be on there.
Wow.
You know my brother. What's going on?
Wow, I didn't even know there was a Hidden Colors 5. They doing a 5?
Yeah, there's a lot of people throwing your name out there. You red pill, blue pill.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. See, I wouldn't even know more. Thanks for putting me on. I didn't even know that was like a campaign.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Tariq is, I think he was on Instagram telling people to vote for it. They threw your name out there and a bunch of other brothers.
Really? Wow. That's crazy. Islam, thank you for putting me on more. Because, I be so my nose to the ground striving to do what we're doing. I don't, I don't really hear a lot of stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Also, I don't have an Instagram page or whatever. So I appreciate that more. Good looking.
No problem, brother. But I wanted to get into this new Black Census 2020 with the Black explanation detail and see what's that going about for the people so they can know out here.
Oh, man. Well, what I think we as original people need to finally come to grips with is the fact that for the past 248 years, 249 years that you've had the so-called United States, that everybody that has been here or had ancestry that was already from here were totally redesignated and made to feel that they were foreign to their own land. And so what that did was that created a perpetual imbalance of so-called original people, i.e. black people, right, for lack of a better word, falling under the colonial designation as to who and what they were, which totally went against what they were or what they are prior to the occupation. So we want to use words like we was enslaved here in America and things like that, but the Slavic race or the Slovenian races or Slovakian races were the only people on earth that were consistently enslaved in mass. When you're dealing with so-called Asiatic people, so-called black people, i.e. Moors, you're talking about people who are prisoners of war, who were prisoners and functionaries of a successive conflict that has really been going on since the time of Rome and Carthage, that was reorganized after a certain amount of time into what we call the rise of the Islamic empires and the fall of the so-called Crusader empires, which then got re-evaluated and redistributed in the modern times in the terms of Marxism and communism versus capitalism and free trade. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's always the same thing. It's just that because our people have been marginalized to accept the occupational government's education of themselves, they are at a perpetual disadvantage because the same people who denationalize you are now the same people giving you names of the nations that you're from. So you're never going to move ahead. You're never going to be in a position to stand up for yourself because you're always looking to Africa. You're always looking to somewhere else as opposed to where you at. So this new census thing that's happening is really a byproduct of all of us that have now been challenging that notion for the past, I would say really heavy, for the past 15 years. But really succinctly, since 28, when the first people to really talk about us being national in terms of melanated people here and us not being imported from Africa as some sort of commodity, the only person that was people really pumping that in the beginning was the Moors for the Moor Science Temple of America, Divine National Movement. And i.e. before that, you had people like the tribe of Ben Ishmael. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had people from the Sauk Nation that used to pump that. You used to have people from, there was even a group of people called the Mosaic Templars, and they used to build on the shit too. They was giving that to a lot of the brothers that fell into the whole fraternal Freemason system, which was really just another bastardized system to conceal your true nationality and inheritance. Wow. So those of us that have been consistently challenging the jurisdiction, consistently letting people know that no, just because I look melanated doesn't mean that I'm from a continent that you call in Africa. When we have documented evidence, National Geographic just put out a whole documentation on the fact that they found that the whole southeastern portion of the United States is actually a part of the 250 million year old piece of Africa that was broken off after the continental divide. So when we say that we already in Africa, we not lying. We already here. The problem is our history, again, is being regurgitated back to us by black traders, right? Yep. By black apologists, right? By black feminists, right? By pseudo COINTELPRO clandestine agencies, right? And the perpetual miseducation of pseudo Africans, right? That when they come over here, they're not even listed as African. They list them all as white. So they want you to identify with being an African American, but when the Africans come here, they tell all the Africans to list they racial designation as white. So who's really zooming who? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I know a few
we done
Dominicans
put
that's
in the
considered white, and they darker than me, and on their passport was white. And
That's right.
Yeah,
because
Dominicans.
guess what? Because that's what they are. Because white don't have nothing to do with color. It has everything to do with status. And the original white people, or so-called free white persons that the country was set up for, was anybody that's not Caucasian. You understand what I'm saying? So we have challenged and been putting and declaring that we're not 14th Amendment citizens so much now, and people actually taking control of their own so-called straw men, right, that we now turn into a disregarded entity and then reclaim now as a Moroccan estate through your free national name. Now what happens is they can't use that old resource against you, which means now you become the principal over that estate. Now what happens is you have the chance to fire them and then clearly define that you're not a 14th Amendment citizen. A 14th Amendment citizen is somebody that's under the perpetual jurisdiction of the United States of America. But a 14th Amendment citizen is somebody that was brought into the Constitution after the military conflict, which we call the Civil War.
Okay, so can I ask you? So was this what Wesley Snipes was trying to attempt when he was going against the IRS and saying they going under Moorish laws?
Nah, see, what Wesley Snipes did, one was deal with York, and York didn't have his own nationality and everything straight. Mm-hmm. How you going to set up a whole compound? And again, I'm not trying to diss nobody's teacher, nobody's father, but again, it's about what's real. How you going to set up a whole compound? How you going to set up whole little Egypt and all of that, right? How you going to buy the land, but then not put it in the perpetual trust to keep the crackers off it? How you going to create a situation where you got people coming from all over the world giving you all of this money to set up this whole community, which you already did, but then you don't do nothing to secure it outside the state?
Yeah, so when the FBI seized it, they seized the whole land too, right?
All because he had a bar on the land and didn't get a license to serve alcohol. That's how the whole shit started. So really, what you got niggas drinking on the damn land for in the first place? Number one.
If it wasn't
but number two, if they want to do that, set up your situation under a private estate or private foreign trust, so that way, whatever you do on your land, they don't give a damn. They can't do that. Let me ask you right now, what's happening in the Hindu Sikh temple? You don't know, because the Hindu Sikhs got their own community circulated around their temple, so nobody could just run up in there and tell them nothing. What you know, what's happening in the Jewish temple right now? You don't know, but them niggas got their own police, they got their own law, and they got their own this, because they're not doing it as citizens of the United States. Because a citizen of the United States, according to the Trading with the Enemy Act, is an enemy combatant, which means that you have to be managed, which means that you have to be put under articles of war, which means that you are then put under what they call war amendments, which they now today call the 14th Amendment. The Civil War never ended. Ask yourself this: every war that they done fought, right?
Right.
There's always a peace treaty, right? Where's the peace treaty that ended the Civil War?
None. I haven't seen one.
Right. So that means it ain't stopped. Because to stop a war, you have to have a treaty to stop that. You have to have what's called an armistice. See, these Moors be talking, these blacks and these Moors be talking all of this law and history, and we Africa and all that, but they don't deal with the common aspects of stuff. There's certain things that's consistent throughout, like rules of engagement. If you are a slave, you have no context for nothing. But if you're a prisoner of war, you have the right, under the rules of engagement, to go back to your country after the conflict. We have a treaty of peace and friendship as Moors, right? That's going back before the kingdom of Morocco was even established. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're supposed to be protected under. One of the things we're supposed to be protected under, but we can't access that if we are citizens of the United States. Because a citizen of the United States is somebody that is property and managed by the occupational government of the United States, which
so
is the third party.
All the census thing that's going on right now is because they're trying to hide that. Well, I know one thing: they want to take the Indian logos off the Cleveland Indians. They want to take it off the Washington Redskins. But if you look at them type of Indians, it's a darker complected Indian than what the Indians you see today.
Boy,
so
I could show you a picture from not to cut your wisdom. I could show you a picture from 1904 with the mascot for the Cleveland Indians standing right next to the white man, and it's a straight little black boy. You know what I mean? From when they first founded it, because everybody know who the original people are, except themselves. Right. They're the only ones that don't accept that they from America. They want to be from everywhere else. They want to tell you that you're from Senegal and all these different places. But when you go to Senegal, they're not welcome, not saying that everybody, but when you go there, you're going to reach and build on people that are of your descent, but not of your nativity. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yeah, well, my grandmother always said, you know what I'm saying, that we had native Indian in our family, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we all do.
I know this is every black person in America right now say they have Indian in their family, but with all the teachings and all the books out right now, they don't show none of it. And
because they keep claiming something else. Because they were put under what's called the Racial Integrity Act, and that merged the original Moors that was here with the so-called imported African slaves that the British had shipwrecked over here, the Amistad and all that, and lumped them into one lump sum under the term black, Negro, colored. So when you say colored, you're talking about American Indian. When you're talking about Negro, you're talking about Moors that have been redesignated as Negroes. When you're talking about blacks, you're talking about Moors and Negroes and natives that have been totally taken out of the context of being a nation and put under what's called colorable law. And in colorable law, everybody got to be a color in order for the society to function.
So
and
that's what
the highest aspect of that is white.
Census is like breaking.
So that's the creation of racism right there.
Right, as he just said.
Well, what it is the census, but see, it's a double-edged sword, because what the census is really doing now is forcing so-called blacks to go into what their actual ancestry and genetics is. And because they all believe that they Africa, what they're basically going to do is make them be foreign to the so-called United States, which they are. We're all foreign to the United States because we're foreign to corporations. Mm-hmm. All corporations are foreign to humans. However, we are not foreign to the land. So it's possible for you to be foreign to the jurisdiction of the occupation of the United States government and still be indigenous to the land. They are occupying a corporate jurisdiction, or what they call a corpus delicti, which means that they are not even really physically on the land like that. They only have interest in the fixtures. You know what I'm saying? That not even the leaps and bounds. They are under a specific war amendment. Why? Because after the so-called Civil War, in order for states to come back into the so-called Union, they had to adopt the 14th Amendment and the new 13th Amendment that took away the 13 with the 20 sections. And so they had to adopt it, in which it made the white man and the black man all slaves under the U.S. government. And so everybody was against that. So in order for you to come back into it afterwards, you had to accept that. If not, they came and destroyed your city, destroyed your state. So people don't believe me. Go online and research the last letter that was written by the last governor in 1866, I believe. It was written by the last governor of North Carolina to the incoming military occupationalist, General Canby, who basically had military elections to elect the people who would come in to every state after that. Because now every state that came into the Union now was not in the Republic anymore. It was in the democracy, which means it was in a foreign jurisdiction under the jurisdiction of Rome and Britain. And so when you read the letter, he basically tells you in the letter that he does not feel it's not right for him to give up his office to a military organization that technically was illegal, that everything that they did was illegal, but he would have to leave the office under extreme protest because they would kill him. So then that means, brothers, that we have not had a lawful government in the United States since 1861.
Damn.
You understand that? So that means every state that exists is an emergency state. That's why every state that you exist in is a police state. You have
that's why they're trying to push through this article. What is it? The article of separation?
More they trying to do whatever they can
so
do
they
for
can
their
take
people,
away our rights, and if they push
this
through and the states get back their rights.
They're trying to make laws to constrict humanity. So the only way that humanity is going to be there to get out of that is to stop being somebody's human capital or property. The only way you can't be human capital or property is to put in a proper declaration and delineation between yourself and the fiction that they created at the time that they assumed jurisdiction over you, which was before you even touched the actual physical ground. When you came out your mother, they put your foot and your hand on a piece of paper. So you touch the fiction first. And then they treat you like the fiction is you. And then because blacks have no so-called nationality, and because blacks have no recourse or law to protect them, they have to fall under the jurisdiction of who is managing them. But because it only happens to blacks, you see, they have an automatic way out, because one law has to be a law universal. It cannot be a law one day and then the next day it only applies to these people, but these people cool with it. So what you have then is what's called a flawed, democracy. And in any type of flawed democracy, it won't come out. When you have a what's called a flawed democracy, you create a system by which the society itself can only be overthrown. So the people that's trying to overthrow it is actually the people who set it up in the first place. The only people out here killing cops and killing people like that is white males, sovereign citizens. These niggas that they trying to act like is Moors or Moors Americans, look it up online. 90% of the sovereign citizens that they locking up, that's shooting and killing police, is all white males between the age of 26 to 45. Read the FBI reports. So if that's the case, then everybody knows that the white man is the natural terrorist. But the world, everybody still points at the black man. Why? Because everybody knows that the black man is the only one that can physically stop this nigga.
So let me switch with,
but he's not.
With Trump, with this new military sixth branch, is which, like, the movie Elysium, you seen the movie Elysium, right? To where the poor people was stuck up on Earth.
Yeah, and they had to make them citizens in order to help them and shit.
Space Force that Trump is starting, everybody think it's a joke, but if you look.
Oh yeah, man, because space is a multiple term. Space is a double entendre. He's talking about space out in space, outer space, but he's also talking about the space that occupies space on Earth, like land. Land is space. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we having a space force. It applies both as above, so below. So people looking one way, and he really talking about something else. What's really happening is that, like I said, based on this census situation, what they have realized is that there are more people claiming a true nationality as Moors or Moorish Americans than ever before in history. You understand? So what that's doing is it's creating a tipping point, because these people are also coming out saying that they're not 14th Amendment citizens. So that also means then that they're Americans, because you can't be a U.S. citizen and an American at the same time. You got to be one or the other. So when you're an American, you exist in the national character there, i.e. you're protected by the preamble and the things that created the Constitution. The Constitution is just one piece of paper, but it's one out of four. You had the Articles of Association, the Articles of Confederation, the Bill of Rights, the Unalienable Rights. Then finally the Constitution. Then you had the Mecklenburg Constitution in 1774. Then you had the United States Constitution in 1776. Then what put it all together was the Treaty of Peace and Friendship in 1787. So that way by 1791, when they reorganized it all, they had a clear separation between our dominion and then the dominion that we gave them to exist in, which we now call the colony. What they did was get us to come out of our original situation and go into theirs by working with dirty Moors. By working with niggas that we was already fighting with. Niggas act like when the Indians, before the white man got here, we wasn't fighting with each other. That's not true. The reason why you got a group of people called the Seminoles today is because you had a war between the Northern Creeks and the Yamasee. And then the Yamasee lost, and then from that Yamasee, that product, they took all the squaws back to the Northern Creeks. The Northern Creeks then went to their ancestral home in Florida and then set up a whole nother tribe called the Seminoles. But they tell you and me that the Seminole means runaway slave. You see how they do?
Oh, man. I didn't know that.
See how they do? These is black people, period. But because you got so many blacks, like I said, that have been inundated with this fake Alex Haley narrative. That was
Alex
already
Haley was actually plagiarized. If you look up the case for the movie,
he actually plagiarized it from that
pay for that. And you don't hear about none of the Alex Haley family.
The Jew that wrote the story was named Max Fisher. Max Fisher, if you look on the copyright notice for Ruth, he's still getting checks off it today.
Was that the book,
When
The
Alex
African?
Haley died and his estate died, he didn't have the copyrights on it.
Was that
That's
the book
how you
called
know.
The African, right?
Yes. Written by the Jew, Max Fisher.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, most of the history that we're dealing with as so-called blacks was imposed on us and assimilated to us by traitors like A. Philip Randolph, Ida B. Wells, W.B. Du Bois, what's his name, Booker T. Washington, Langston Hughes, all these niggas that they've been showing you and pumping up. Martin Luther King. It's that Martin Luther King was so crazy. The police, when he went to Norway, when he went to Norway to get his Nobel Peace Prize, he was in the orgy and freaked the white woman out so much that when the police came, they saw this nigga running down the hall, butt-ass naked, chasing this white woman. The day before he was supposed to get the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, this is in the FBI reports.
Yeah.
They said so many FBI reports is on this nigga, and most of them is listed as obscene.
They touched on some of this in Selma. I know they touched on some
Yeah,
of this
you know
in
how they
Selma.
do.
And a lot of black people was
You know how they
mad
do.
about it,
Mad
but
about
you
that,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But the FBI did have the reports. I did read
Boy,
this
they had
before
so
Selma
much
came
in
out.
obscenity because he was in them coke rituals. They used to call him the Atlanta Mafia.
Yeah, he was Boule.
Used to be him, Abernathy, the whole Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, all of them. Stokely Carmichael was CIA operative. Huey P. Newton was cool with Jim Jones.
Mm-hmm.
They used to go out and used to go to the Nation of Islam when Warif invited them there to give speeches. This picture of Jim Jones at the Nation of Islam giving speeches with Huey P. Newton and them in the thing. They say Huey P. Newton, Hillary Clinton was the one that helped get him off. I'm saying, like, this shit is deep. Like, it's deep. We have generational agents in your community, in every, whether it's the God's 5% Nation, whether it's the Nation of Islam, whether it's the Prince Hall, whether it's the Sarset Society, whether it's the Kemite Society, whether it's the Moors, whether it's you have generational agents that have been groomed from different families to go into these orders every generation and fuck it up. Excuse my language.
Yeah, so you think that's why it's so hard for blacks to really get along as a collective?
Yes.
Because you do have
Yes,
certain
they don't
blacks
want
that
that.
bring on their own kind down. They bring their own brothers down.
First
Man,
plantation.
you see that with every,
The
you know,
first plantation we all grew up in was our house.
Yeah.
And some of us was blessed to have consciousness, but most of us was not. Most of us was born pagan and Christian. And when we started waking up to that, the same people in our family that nurtured us and raised us turned against us. But you also don't know why. Because what you didn't know was that certain people in your family were generationally connected to this shit since the fall of the empire, and they are in your family and have promised you, have made deals and oaths to promise you to basically carry on this shit. And if you don't, then you get sacrificed. This is what's going on.
Damn.
Black people act like niggas don't put roots and shit on them. This is what we really dealing with. What does it say in the book? It says we dealing with we are at war with principalities and powers in high places. You understand? And what we are understanding is when this nigga say he want to set up a space force, what you got to understand is these niggas never went to space. They never went to the moon. So what space is he doing? What space he going to? They haven't been to the moon, but I tell you this, they have a way into alternate realities through the Hadrian Collider shit.
Yeah, the
So yeah, they don't
Collider,
got to
the
go
CERN.
into outer space. They can go into inner space. They can go into intraspace. They can go into what they call infraspace.
So
There's
with
different
the
levels to
CERN
it.
thing, I know they had a CERN character in the new Thor. And I'm looking like CERN. CERN has been in a lot of movies. Howard the Duck, a lot.
Yeah,
where
because
they
this
bringing in
is
these
part of the
demons through
predictive
portals.
programming. This is the precognitive programming to get you to accept it. Because what CERN is your pineal organ amplified in a machine form. And they harvest people's organs and shit like that to be able to create biotechnology to put into this thing to give it a human consciousness.
So you said
when
they
start to-
harvest organs, you said?
They're harvesting organs in people. They're creating algorithms of organisms from people, places, things. Like, okay, you got a Facebook page, right?
Yeah.
From that Facebook page, they link that up to your YouTube page. Then they link that up to your Instagram. Then they link that up to your IG. Then they link that up to this. Then they link that up to your social. Then they linked it up to your birth certificate. Then they link it up to all of the visual pictures that they got on you that your mother posted or whoever posted, and put all of that shit together. Research your porn history, everything. Put all of that shit together, and they literally create a digital clone of you. And that digital clone then, based upon whatever genetic material you offered up to it, whether it was through your immunization when you was a kid, whether it was when you had to go to the hospital and they broke your arm or whatever, and they took your blood or whatever, then they match it with that. Then they ancestrally put it into what they call the digital matrix to be able to plan out what your future is supposed to be through a predictive programming algorithm.
Man,
and then from that, they then create a different aspect of you that they then can program and put online whenever they want. This is where identity. This is what identity theft really is. It's creating you and putting you back into the matrix without you even realizing that you've done that. You got niggas walking around here right now that's straight clones, and I don't just mean because there's different types of cloning. It's not like they put you in a vat and then they create a whole version of you and you adult, you walking around and all that. There's different ways of doing that. The old school Nazis use what they call vril cloning. You know when you see the actors and the so-called Illuminati niggas, they always cover their eye? Mm-hmm. The reason why is because they have a type of clone they call a vril. And this vril is like almost like a worm, like a parasite. And what they do is that they find a way to get the host to incorporate it, right? And then when you incorporate it, whether it be through ingestion, whether it be through sex, whether it be through drinking, eating, whatever it is they put the parasite in, once it goes into you, it starts to bond. It goes into your inside, and then what it does is it creates a latch onto the back of the left eye, and it starts to burrow around the cortice, the retina centers on the left side of the brain, because the left side is receiving, the right is giving. So now that you're receiving, what happens is this thing latches onto that eye and starts to basically work from the eye into the brain. And then once it gets into the brain, it nestles within there and it starts to eschew all the shit you're seeing. And then the more you ingest certain things to help it, like pork, like red meat, like soda, like, you know what I'm saying, whatever else, that helps bond this thing and activate it even more. And then one day you go to sleep, and then you wake up. The day you wake up, you gone. This thing is now running you. And so to show that you're down with it, then that's when you usually happens to people that's mainstream and they want to have influence. That's why you see all the stars doing that shit. And then what happens is once you're fully in and fully integrated, they show you the signs. See, I'm in. I'm a one eye. I'm a cyclops. You see? That's why they always cover the left eye, because it only goes to the left eye, because that's the receptor, the receiver for it. So they've been prepping us with this with movies like Invasion, remember? Yeah. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, remember? The Host, remember? They've been grooming us from this. Remember V?
V, yeah.
They've been grooming us with this.
Taking off masks, they was, hiding something.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, I remember V.
Yeah, they've been grooming us for this for years. Remember Scanners? Remember all that shit we've grown up watching? Fucking Freddy Krueger was taking you into alternate dimensions, using the dream reality to make the dream reality real, and then keep you in the dream bring you into the dream reality, and then while you're in the dream reality, that's when they pump the clone out there in the real reality, and people be like, damn, why is this nigga bugging? He's totally different now. What happened to him? What happened to her? What happened to her is that they gave up their soul to Lucifer. And in that, they've been able to rock since. So like I said, the space program is really a part of what they call this. Remember a couple of months ago, they had this thing called the SpaceX rocket test?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this?
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was this rocket, right? It was. Remember that? Right. That's a bomb. That was a bomb. And it's not SpaceX, it's Space 10. The X is actually a Roman numeral for 10. This is the 10th generation of this project. And the project is to basically move this reality into a perpetual reality of falsehood. And the way that we stay there is by getting everybody in the physical reality to accept every falsehood as true. That's the only reason why you can be. You're in an alternate reality. Think about that. I grew up under Donald Trump, man, in New York with the Central Park jogger shit. Like, I remember this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for him now to become president, you understand what I'm saying?
It's weird. It gotta be weird.
Only really happened because there had to be an antithesis for the Obama thing. Because if you look back on it, the country was basically done before Obama got in. Obama came in and did for black people exactly what Trump is doing for white people. Right? So really, we're dealing with the same system because Obama was no different than Trump. Obama don't give a damn about no black people. Obama eat kids. Oh, but these niggas eat people.
So I wanted to, with the last question, what's going on with Trump backing this dollar back with gold again? Is that it's going to take the dollar back up? Is gold going to shoot up?
Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Trump is not necessarily. Let me put it like this. The enemy is the falsehood, and however face that rears itself. That's the truest enemy of it all, right? So in that, you have what's happening in their society, in the occupational United States government. They are at war with each other. They're about to be downgraded. They've already been downgraded. They Standard & Poor rating has already been downgraded to level 3. So that means they're basically on the same level as Guatemala when it comes to country efficiency. That's why I said they've been downgraded to a flawed democracy.
Yeah, I know the education is really low.
China, yeah, but I mean just the whole thing as a country. They're looking at it as a third world country already. So what's happening is Trump and them know that within 5 to 6 years, remember, white people birth rates globally is 0. So globally also, Caucasian people en masse, their birth rate is like less than 1.3%. In order for you to have a thriving culture, everybody got to be producing at a level of 2.8% to keep the culture viable. The birth rate of Caucasian people has drastically reduced itself to almost 0.1%. You understand what that means? That means that there's really no white people on the planet anymore.
Right.
What we see as white people are the people on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have this whole genetic thing now where they realize that they are facing their extinction. The time that they know for them to rule, they know is basically up. So you have one faction, the Brotherhood of Eagles, that want to basically find a way to integrate them into an alternate reality where they could exist as a whole race of Obamas, right? As a bunch of beige gold people, right? That's what the whole LGBT, transgender, transhuman, I'm a boy, but I'm really a girl, I'm a girl, I'm really a boy. That's what that's really about. Then you have another side of the game, the straight KKK, Dixieland Mafia type niggas that just want all niggas to be off the planet as quick as possible. And these niggas is the ones that have been perpetually down with Rothschild. These are the ones that Rothschild used to bring von Braun over here and then set up NASA, which is Nazi, and then basically create all the clandestine services that created all of the mind control, MK Ultra shit that we've all been under since then. So they're at war with each other. In between that, you have the so-called black boule, right, who are all the step and fetch it lapdogs for these people, the Beyoncés, the Jay-Z's, the Kanye's, the Obamas, these type of people, right? They are strictly down for the white man. They about
like
maintaining
the
the society.
right? It's kind of like the guard dogs, so we won't get past. We got to get past them.
Yeah, like the two-headed dog Cerberus that guards the way to Hades. Yeah, that's them, the dog. So in that, they are all juristically caught up and have vested interest in keeping this society going the way it is. So as much as they don't like seeing black people killed and shit like that, think about this. Nas, as conscious as this nigga is, why he ain't never start a label where it's just nothing but conscious people on it? No, this nigga signed Dave East. You see what I'm saying? The nigga that's promoting the same shit, the same crack, drug selling, hoe slapping that we trying to get past. Because Nas don't want nothing to change. You know what I'm saying? Not because he may not want it himself, but because he is a part of a society that has identified him in a certain way. And as much as we act like we against these niggas, when you making millions with these people, you're with those people. When you're a Freemason, a black Freemason, that means every white Freemason from Albert Pike down is your brother. And you got to look out for them quicker than you would your homie on the block. Period.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with what I say. It has nothing to do with what you say. That's just how it is. So they're already against us. You understand what I'm saying? They're already against it, and they show you every day.
Wow.
They want you to all be down with the Africans, but the Africans have had their own countries for over 40, 80 years, and they're really no better, with certain exceptions, like Cameroon, Chad, Ivory Coast. Like, there's certain countries that really don't rock with the white man like that. But for the most part, these niggas done had their own country, and they still ain't no more together than we are. So my thing is, let's be ourselves. Let's build our own programs, and let's identify with the nationality that we already got here that the Africans already know. Because the Africans done told me, I done been there. They done told me, yes, you are Moors. I didn't know that you guys knew that. Thought you guys forgot. But there's certain African countries that have made deals from the time of colonialism based on how they were educated, and they believe that they enslaved you. But think about this. When you look at the pictures of Leopold and the people in the Congo when they was brutalizing them with the feathers and shit on, those people were all East Africans. But remember, they told you that when they enslaved you, where did the African slaves come from?
Well, they told me we came off the west side.
They came from the west side of Africa, right?
Yeah.
So how is it that I'm enslaving Africans on the east side, then I'm being enslaved on the west side at the same time? Does that make sense? No. No, it don't. So when they tell you, oh, this is the port of no return where the slaves went out, who told you that? The niggas that colonized you from the 1900s? Because if that's the story they gave you, then of course you believe that. But like I said, man, if you cannot show me a slave ship from 250 years ago, but you could show me a dinosaur bone for 350 million years ago, then I'm the fool if I believe you.
That's one of the greatest tricks. That's one of the greatest
that.
tricks to ever be played. That's why I think the youth right now and people alone is waking up, because you have so much information that you have access to right now.
That's what I'm saying, more. The youth is to the point where they ready to kill themselves.
Yeah,
that's how much they not with it. That's how much they not with none of this shit. They say, you know what? The Moors can't get it together. The blacks can get it together. Fuck it. Let's go to Lucifer. At least I know that nigga. I'll get some money. I'll get this. I'll get that. This is where they at. The church ain't giving them nothing. The black leadership ain't giving them nothing. Right? The Muslims damn sure ain't giving them nothing. Right? What we gonna do? Go to Africa, and then what? And then what? So what happened to my state that's here for me now? That's why they want you to go back to Africa, so that way you can abandon your estate, and this cracker can have another 150 years of life right here. Meanwhile, Trump realized, look, eventually these Moors is gonna get it. We gonna have to change the census in order to accommodate everybody that's saying that they not black anymore. That's what's really happening. There's so many Moors claiming their nationality as Moorish American or African or whatever, that the term black now is become obsolete, right? So if it becomes obsolete now, those that use it have to actually define what they mean by it. But guess what? They don't even know.
I probably know about at least 30 different type of blacks.
Right.
And 30 different type of black people.
Right. When really it's only one, the melanated kind. So you either more from America, you are more from Africa, whatever. People don't like using the word more because, again, that is definitive. They'd rather be a Hebrew. You know why? Because there's no nation in the world called Hebrew. They'd rather be an Egyptian. You know why? Because in order to be an Egyptian, like how they say it, you got to go back to some abstract shit of over 225,000 years ago that none of us speak that type of language as Egyptians. So really, I'm gleaning it from what I'm seeing the elders that came before me do, and they're gleaning it, you see what I'm saying, from people like Dr. Henry Clark and them that was really one of the first generations to get into that.
So there's still aspects of the so-called Egyptian culture that we're still not going to be able to get because we're still interpreting it through the eyes of the Europeans. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
When we was rocking Egypt went all the way to where Senegal is. You know what I'm saying? And it was like that up until the late 1800s with the Mahdi when he shut down the British out there. So what I'm saying is, when you say that you're a Moorish American, for instance, what you're saying is I'm all of it without having to distinguish it all. What I'm saying is that I'm the true possessor of the Al-Moroccan Empire, of North, Central, and South America, and all the adjoining islands of what we call the Antilles that they call the Caribbean. And when I went into these government agencies and put it down or whatever, these crackers didn't argue with me at all. They gave me everything I needed to continue my quest to get this shit right. You know who got problems with it, though? Niggas.
Right.
The niggas.
Hey, what are you?
The niggas. They the
Problem with
ones
you.
that want to stop it. They're the ones that don't want you to get your birthright. The prophet said, if you're not careful, your own brother be the one to send you back to slavery. And he's right. Right now, this is nigga. Somebody showed me one of these niggas from Oz now is like the next fucking York guru now. He's the embodiment of Ganesha or some other shit. Like, what is it? These niggas will support anybody that's giving them a fiction than something real. This nigga was on Oz. This nigga made Wu-Tang records. What are y'all niggas talking? Now this nigga's in New York. Like, this is what y'all doing? Y'all setting yourself up for another sacrifice? Another nigga bringing you some knowledge with no solution to it? Yes. You know why? Because like Elijah Muhammad said, he said they love the devil because the devil give them nothing. These blacks don't believe that they anything other than what this white man says he is. So if that's where they are, you need to leave them there and move on with what you got to do. Because I'm telling you, when the gold comes back behind this money, it's all going to be about who has nationality and not, who has standing and not. If you using the money that's fiat-based, you're done. If you are going by based on their designation as to what you are, you're managed. You're going to be handled. You know what I'm saying? Because they're moving at a phase now where they got to set up for World War World War 5 and 6. They passed 3. You're already in World War 3, World War 4 right now. This whole thing that happened with this nigga going to South Korea and all of that, they setting up the rules of engagement. They're about to go to war. I don't know what you think. They got niggas thinking some peace shit. No, they're about to go to war. You know why? Because South Korea is one of the biggest cloning centers in the world. Where they bring niggas all over the world to go there and get hooked up. Right? So they're looking to expand the jurisdiction of this. So to do that, they need to get into North Korea. But they can't do that because if they go into North Korea full force, that's going to put them directly against China, right? And then if they go against China, remember, that's going against Russia. So what is happening is everybody's drawing the line. China already created a tariff agreement to retaliate against Trump with the tariff raising that just happened. This is why gas is going to keep going up. They setting up for another so-called Arab Spring in the Middle East to fully destroy Syria altogether, which is going to let them set up the pipeline. You see what I'm saying? And that means they're going to need new bodies for the fire. So it's going to be a whole new push to recruit people. Yeah, to recruit people to go to war. Yes, sir. This is what's coming. So those of us with nationalities, though, we don't got to worry about none of that because we're protected by certain things. Different countries even. But to get to that type of situation, you got to come out of Babylon or the children of Israel, which means that you got to decide what type of carbonated being on earth you're going to be. You're going to be one that's just stateless, that's just black power, we ready to just die for the revolution, or you ready to live for it? If everybody's going to Africa to get right, then what happens to all of the land and all the stuff here? What, the Mexicans going to get it now? You done had your ancestors just die and be raped and killed all now for the Mexicans to get it? Meanwhile, everybody beefing about the immigrants being separated from families. ACS and DICE has been doing that since 61. Don't believe me? Get the movie Claudine.
Yeah.
When
Well,
they talking
I know.
about all of this shit with the black family and all that, there's more black fathers in black homes than any other race. Look it up. That whole black father not being in the house, all that, that's a myth. That was a myth perpetuated by the welfare system, by all of the black women that hooked up with that during the 60s and 70s, where they said that it's illegal for you to have a man in the house if you're taking money from the government. It's illegal. You can't have a man. But they ain't tell that to the Jewish chick. They ain't tell that to the Puerto Rican chick. They ain't tell that to the Mexican chick. No, because it's all about destroying the black man, the so-called black man, the so-called black woman, and the so-called black child, because they are the only human beings on the planet. Everybody else is a hybrid.
Damn.
Well, as you see, it's my family. My brother
That's
is
some
deep.
good shit.
I got to get ready to get out of here. Aseer,
That's
I would
what's
like to
up.
thank you. Can you tell the people how can they get in touch with you?
Islam, or you can hit me up. Anybody can hit me up at houseofl@hotmail.com. That's HOUSEOFEL at hotmail.com. If you want to start working on, getting your stuff right or whatever. If you want to check out some of my stuff, DVDs and stuff, you can go to www.aseerthedukeoftears.com. And if you'd like to check out some of my online classes, you can go to www.gumroad.com and then type in Aseer the Duke of Tears in the search engine. All the classes will come up. And then if anything else, you could just see a lot of the work that I've been doing for the past, 20, 15 years or whatever on YouTube. Just type in Aseer the Duke of Tears. And again, thank you for having me on, gentlemen. I really appreciate it.
We'd like to thank you, my brother. And
Deep, man.
like I said, peace, my brother. And I would love to have you on again, and we'll talk soon.
Inshallah, let me know, man. Just send me the link when you guys post it.
All right, my brother. Peace.
So I can post it as well.
Yep.
All right,
got
guys. Peace, Lord.
you. Peace out.
Man.
Wow, man. It's a lot of deep shit, man. My brother had a lot more to say, but shit, man.
Woo.
You
It was
had me
just letting him
man.
roll. You know what I mean? I would just, it wasn't even, you didn't need to ask him no questions. You didn't really need to dig in. He just, and you can visualize. That's the thing, man. Like when brothers like that speak, man, a lot of times you can visualize the shit that he's saying. I mean, because you can see it plain as day going on right now. And then when we came in, before we came in the studio, Brother Judah spoke on how a lot of these things are hinted on in the movies, in major motion pictures.
Yeah, they always put it in the
that's
movies
what it is.
first.
Suggested to us, you know what I mean, to feed it to us. And I mean, when you look around, man, it's evidence of all of that, man.
Just gotta pay attention to what's going on,
Yeah, and you also got to watch them house niggas. Because like he said, them be the ones to bring you
Gotta
down
get you
first.
quicker, right?
Because before we get ahead of the game, we got to get past them.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And these type of people have been bringing us down for a good century and a half.
I mean, every
A
I was
couple
going to say when
centuries.
he brought that up, man, it's been a couple of organizations that I can think of that it seems like, man, it's from the inside out, they dissolved. You know what I mean? And it's like, what the hell is going on?
Well, I'm gonna mention one of them groups, the Roots, theroots.com, and it's really some house niggas because right now they trying to this new thing against the black male. They want to get rid of us so bad, or they want us to become LGBTQ
Friendly,
so bad,
right. Yeah.
and then we be accepted. But that's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen. And they can keep putting out these negative
Too
vibes
strong out
about
here, y'all.
the black male and saying that we're sexual predators and we're
Homophobic.
homophobic,
Everything,
and all this other BS. You know
Just
what
to
I'm
keep us
saying?
down, put us
But
down.
you
I mean,
got all
like, here's
type
my
of
thing.
groups.
I don't like thieves. Right? Does that make me a thievophobe? I don't really care to hang around thieves.
No
I don't
one
really
does.
care
I
about.
wouldn't
I don't
say.
really care to hang around crackheads. You know what I mean?
All right.
Does that make me a crackophobe? You know what I'm saying? So why am I
Crackophobia.
homophobe? You see what I'm saying? Because I don't care to hang around or associate with people who do
And they gotta
and
break
participate
the
in
They gotta
real
real
divide
man's
us.
down
Yeah, they gotta
right
divide
now.
us somehow, Keep
They
us
gotta break us
divided,
down somehow because they want to get rid of us. Like they didn't figured out 102 different ways to get rid of us. You can't stay with your girl if she's on assisted, or if something happened, you can't
Section
live
8, you
there,
can't
or
live.
or you know what I'm saying. If I turn and say, hey, you have a nice dress on, it's sexual harassment or
Yeah.
something. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't tell a
You
person
can't say-
nothing
Can't
no more.
compliment a woman on nothing.
And you can't be a real man no more. You have to just be accepting nowadays. But I'm gonna tell you right now, fans, I'm not an accepting person. So me, I'm quite sure it's is not gonna join this new movement that they got.
Real recognize real, so just keep
I'm
it real.
quite
you
sure
know.
I'm not gonna join this little movement that they got going against and dogging out black males.
That's what's
So,
up.
You know.
Man, looking forward to the next show, man.
Yeah, that was
Looking
one of
forward
the
to the next
call
show,
ins
man.
dudes. He's one of the hottest social media lectures right now on social media. Like I said, you know what I'm saying, and I'm just glad I can get him on the show. Where you know what I'm saying, before he hit this hitting Colors 5, hopefully he can get on there. But you know what I'm saying, I'm just trying to reach out to a lot of these younger lecturers that's on social media that a lot of these kids is getting up on that we might not be up on. The public might not be up on.
Right.
They have thousands of followers, and you know what I'm saying, a lot of deep messages for us to hear that we haven't heard. So you know what I'm saying, that's my point. Me and my boy T Mizzle the Great is to get, you know, some of these people on here, ask some of these questions, and get some of this information so some of my people can be woke.
That's what's
Man.
up, man. That's what's up. You know.
Wake the fuck up, man.
Yep.
Yeah, because a lot of
stuff.
people sleep out here right now. So
That's
you
what's
know what
up.
I'm saying. I would like
Try to
also
educate the people.
Tell you, August the 19th, hit me on the Cash App. I got Black to School. We do
Book bags.
book bags, and on August the 19th. So if you want to donate or come up there and drop something off on August the 19th, we're at Thatcher Park. I'm starting at 1, so I'm right now trying to gather up donations. I'm starting off with at least myself 20 book bags. So if you want to add anything else, you know what I'm saying, feel free. You can bring whatever you
Bring
want
what
to
you
up
want,
there,
yep.
donate whatever you want. Like I said, I'm
I'll be on the
Cash-
grill, so hey, come up
Cash
there,
App,
get some food, everything.
JUDAHAWOKEACE. You can hit me on that, donate, or you can hit me on Instagram, DM me, and I'll let you know how else you can donate. And you know what I'm saying, you don't have to donate money. You can come up there and donate your time.
Just come up there, show
You
some
know what I'm
support.
saying? Because like I said, these youth need leaders, and they need older generation, somebody, you know what I'm saying, that's talking about some shit, to sit there and show them the right direction. Because these kids right now is being lost, and they have no leaders to look up to.
There it is.
That's what's up,
True
y'all.
talk, man. Judo Woke Ace in the building, man. What's the next show next week? We got a next show next week, right?
Yeah, next week I'm trying to work on some guests, so hopefully we can get, like I said, I'm trying to work on getting Boss on here to talk about the female rap game. But like I said, it's kind of hard to get around some of these people schedules, so you know. But you know,
It
just
is
work
what it is.
on
We'll
a
get
lot
him in
of
there.
things.
We'll get him in there. So yeah, man. Next week, same time. Y'all already know what it is, man. True talk.
True
We're gonna
talk.
get him in, man. Appreciate the show
Peace.
once again, man. Hell of a show. We'll be back next week, y'all.
JUDAHAWOKEACE, Instagram, Facebook me, whatever, man. Hit me up. Like I said, Black to School program, August the 19th.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to Southern